next door neighbor to particular drugs. Or you may have a genetic constitution that, if given a gene defect like Huntington's, will allow you to wait 70 years before it manifests itself, whereas your neighbor may manifest itself at 16. So it's that context of the population stratification of patients that is an essence of systems medicine and P4 medicine. We can look at how multi-organs responds to disease. We can take an entirely new approach to drug discovery by asking, are there combinations of drugs that can let us take a disease-perturbed network and make it behave in a more normal fashion? That isn't easy, but it will be done. And then, of course, we're beginning to really focus on developing techniques for facilitating wellness. Now, P4 medicine, transferring systems medicine to patients, is about three convergences. One is the digital revolution, handling big data. The second is systems medicine, which we've quickly summarized. And the third are patient-driven social networks. They are going to be the transformative force that will actually facilitate the exception of P4 medicine. Physicians are too conservative. Healthcare systems are too conservative. Insurance companies are too conservative. But patient-driven social networks will cause a revolution, and they're already beginning to do so in really interesting ways. So what about the 4 Ps? Predictive, my argument is in 10 years you'll all have your genome sequences done, and from those we'll be able to extract information on optimizing wellness and avoiding disease. My view is in 10 years we'll have a little handheld device that will prick your thumb and will measure 2,500 proteins, 50 organ-specific proteins from each of your 50 major organ systems, and will follow longitudinally any transitions from wellness into disease across those organ systems. The prevention is about this new strategy for drug targets. It's about new ways to optimize the immune system to generate the cellular immunity we need to deal with AIDS. And most of all, it's about wellness. And I'll say more about that in just a moment. We're all genetically different from one another, so we have to be dealt with as individuals. And in fact, as we gather longitudinal data on each of us, the only qualified control is ourselves. So we'll be our own personal controls throughout our lifetime. And the participatory is the most difficult social aspect. How do we create the patient-driven social networks that will affect disease and wellness and be the driving force in P4 medicine? We're already starting to create them. Society is starting to create them, and they're beginning to be effective. We have to have access to patient data. We have a horribly convoluted system, IRBs, that put all sorts of constraints on patient data. The argument should be society has created the resources to enable the generation of this personal data, and society has the right to have access to that data to mine it for the predictive medicine of the future. So the grand challenge in biology is complexity. So I'd like to talk about how I've used innovation through paradigm changes to lead to the emergence of a new type of medicine that I call P4 medicine. What I'd like to really emphasize, and this is something I started